Hi all, welcome you all to the lecture video session on the institutional support from the central level institutions. Under that, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, how exactly it is promoting the small scale industries through its schemes. Let's go one by one with this government support for the startups and the entrepreneurs in India. Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship under the scheme Government Support for Startups and Entrepreneurs in India it is a task that is taken by the Skill Development and Entrepreneurship Ministry to promote the entrepreneurship. It was given in different departments and then the government agencies. In 2014, Prime Minister decided to dedicate an entire ministry to build the skill development sector, and because he felt that skill development is the major requirement among the youth, and this is the one which is going to bridge the gap between academia and industry, and this is what exactly is looked upon by the industry to develop the better products, and the skill development has to be encouraged among the people, whereby a lot of employment generation would be the result. So furthermore, the idea is to reach 500 million people by the year 2022 and to reduce the gap, and by providing the gap funding and then the skill development initiatives. So under this, the second one was Atal Innovation Mission. 2015, the Government of India kept a budget, and in the budget of 2015, Government established the Atal Innovation Mission AIM, while the name is coming from the former Prime Minister of India, Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. So the Atal Innovation Mission was established to provide promotional platform which will involve the academicians, the innovators, and then the drawing upon the national and the international experiences to foster a culture of innovation in the institutes, research and development inside the innovation centers. The government allocated AIM, that is Atal Innovation Mission, with a budget of around 150 crores in the year 2015. And this is a major success in the industries as well as the institutions to provide the innovations out of their research and developmental activities. Third one is the Ebis Portal. The government launched this first electronic government to business G2B portal with the Ebis Portal, that is e-business portal. The main purpose of the portal is to transform and to develop a conducive business environment in the country. That is to reduce the gap between the supplier and then the producer, and to bring in the transparency and to avoid the play of middlemen. The Ebis portal was developed by Infosys, and it is in a public-private partnership portal, and it was developed under the public-private partnership model. It is a communication center for investors and the business communities in India. So the portal got launched with the 29 services in 5 states of India. The first 5 states of India which launched the Ebis portal are the Andhra Pradesh, Delhi, Haryana, and then the Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu. The government will add more services to the scheme in future. At the moment, it is launched in 5 different states. The fourth one under the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship is Dairy Processing and Infrastructure Development Fund. Dairy Processing and Infrastructure Development Fund. The short form of this is DIDF. What is this DIDF? This is the National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development Bank. That is National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, NABARD. It is an Apex Development Bank of India. That is Apex Development Bank in India. The Government of India had announced the creation of Dairy Processing and Infrastructure Development Fund under NABARD. Government of India, the NABARD the Government of India gave the NABARD a corpus fund of 8,000 crores. Over a period of 3 years, this 8,000 crores was distributed in the year starting from the year 2017-18 to 2019-20. So 8,000 crores was distributed in 3 years of time, and it was proposed in the Union Budget of 2017-18 for the sustained benefit of farmers. So what happened during this time was, like, many of the milk unions like KMF or any Tamil Nadu Milk Federation or Karnataka Milk Federation, all this Nandini, which was a popular model, and multi-state milk cooperatives. You might have seen Dodla, you might have seen Heritage. All these are multi-state milk cooperatives. State dairy federations got formed. Milk producing companies, their unions got formed, and NDDB subsidiaries meeting the eligibility criteria under the project. They were given the loan under NABARD. So the loan component, how exactly they have distributed the loan component was that 80% of the total loan component would be at the maximum rate, and the end borrower's contribution will be 20%, that is minimum rate, 80-20 model. And then the end borrowers will get a loan at 6.5% per annum interest. And then the period of the repayment for this particular loan, whatever that is drawn, will be 10 years of time. For first 2 years will be the moratorium period, where you are not going to pay anything, and then the rest of the 8 years they are going to pay the amount. The respective state government will be the guarantor for the loan repayment, and the project got sanctioned. If the project for the project that is sanctioned, if the end user is not able to contribute 20% of the 80-20 model, its share in this particular scheme, the state government is going to contribute for that, and they will be the guarantor for this particular scheme. These are the various type of the support that is given to the milk unions, thereby giving the support to the farmers, thereby giving the support to the the people, the farmers who are having the dairy development in their place. So after this, the support for international patent protection in electronics and information technology, and this is one of one of the major breakthrough that has happened. That is, we call, in the short term we call it as SIP EIT, because it is the electronics and the information technology sector. The Department of Electronics and Information Technology, DEITY, it has launched a scheme entitled Support for International Patent Protection in Electronics and Information Technology, SIP EIT, and this particular scheme provides the financial support to MSMEs and the technology startup units for international patent filing. You might have heard about the Australian patent, you might have heard about the Japan patent, you might have heard about the Canadian patent. This is the scheme that provides the encouragement to the innovators to file under the international patent filing. What are the features and the benefits of SIP EIT scheme is that the first and the foremost benefit is that it provides the financial support that is required for the international patent filing in the information communication technologies and electronic sector. Second most important feature or the benefit the SIP EIT scheme gives is that the reimbursement limit has been set to the maximum of 15 lakhs per invention, or 50% of the total charges that is incurred in filing and processing of a patent application, whichever it is going to be lesser. Whichever is lesser, like it might be 50% of the total charges, or it could be 15 lakhs. Whichever is lesser, it is going to be the reimbursing limit. The SEP EIT scheme, it can be applied at any stage of the international patent filing. So if the applicant is filing, he might be half the way, then also this grant can be availed, and this grant can be sanctioned. And the next foremost important scheme is that multiplier grant scheme, MGS. What is this multiplier grants scheme? Department of Electronics and Information Technology, again DEITY, started this multiplier grant scheme. So the first scheme that was developed by this DEITY was the SIP EIT, and the second one was MGS. What is this scheme? This scheme aims to encourage the collaborative research and the development activities between the So between the industry and academics, or there could be two R&D institutions which might be located, one in the institution and the other one in the industry. They can go together, and R&D institutions for the development, they can go together and develop a product and the packages. Under this scheme, if the industry supports R&D for the development of the products that can be commercialized at the institutional level, then the government will also support them in the financial ways. That is, the government will support it in the finances, which will be up to twice the amount that is provided by the industry. So here what happens is that if the industry is developing a product and commercializing the product, then through at the institution level, then it is also getting support by the government twice the amount that is provided by the industry. MGS promotes and expedites the development of all original products and packages, and the government grants would be limited to the maximum amount of 2 crores per project, and the duration of each product could considerably be less than 2 years, and the maximum amount, that is the maximum project grant, would be 2 crores, and it would be 4 crores and 3 years for the industry associations. If it is developed at the institutional level, the funding limit will be around 2 crores, and then the developmental period will be 2 years. If it is developed by the industry, then the limit would be 3 crores, and then the developmental years would be 3 years from the R&D institution of the industry. With this, I end up this lecture video session on the MGS, that is the multiplier grant scheme, and then the next scheme that we are going to discuss is credit guarantee scheme for startups. See you all in the next lecture video. Thank you everyone.